Console, a Doctor Who review podcast. This time, we are putting the season finale of the latest series of Doctor Who around the console, The Reality War. Now, I'm your host, Bob, and joining me are Cliff, John, Suki, and Liam again. He's back for the big finale that we're covering. Let's go around and get a little vibe. Let's get around this console. I'll come to, out of interest, Cliff first.
Right, so last week, I enjoyed last week because a big build up, seeing what's going to happen. This week, I still enjoyed it, but I felt it lacked in a few places. Obviously, a lot of questions still not answered. But I'll go into it more when we go on. But to me, it's still positive. It was just, you always want a little bit more, don't you? Or maybe it's just me.
Tepid positivity.
Yeah.
John.
Yeah, I am very positive about this one. I love this episode. It was fantastic. And I think in contrast to all the weeks previous when I haven't, it's felt a lot like
I'm so happy.
It landed for me. I was really happy with it. Obviously, there are flaws. We'll get to that. But otherwise, I'm on the positive side.
Wonderful. Liam.
I'm reasonably positive about it. I definitely liked it. I think, like John says, of course there are flaws. It's far from perfect. Some of it is kind of baffling, but I liked it. I enjoyed it. The kind of big reveals that they worked for me. Definitely interested to get into it.
This isn't overbearingly positive yet, but it's good. John's been the most positive of all. Suki.
Yes, I went to the pictures to watch this, I think like Bob, and because I think I was in a crowd of like-minded people, my perception of this episode was really, really good. I enjoyed just sat there and just let it wallow all over me, and I was crying in certain places, actual tears. And so I think
out of your eyes, I'm hoping. When you say crying in certain places, that is out of your eyes.
Yeah.
As in certain places of the episode.
Just leaking.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
That's where I mean, I've got to join you on that, Suki, because I wasn't going to watch it until later. Then it transpired that View Cinema was 5-minute drive from my gig, and I didn't have to be there till 8 o'clock. So I was like, right, I'm off to pictures, and I was going to go. I might just not bother with Wish World and just go for but I did. I'm so glad I went to watch Wish World, and it's possibly one of my most magical experiences as Doctor Who fan was going to the cinema to watch it, because I was a bit like, I don't like people talking, but I thought, no, fuck it, I'm gonna go do it. I'm so happy I did. I mean, I went on my own, obviously, but people were laughing in the bits you should be laughing at, people were crying in the bits you should be crying at, and the ending when Jodie appeared, everyone was like, oh my god. It was just so nice to be. I'm not going to say a room full of people because it was half full, but I was fucking buzzing when I left that. And when the Billy reveal came, I was just fucking honestly, just amazing. One of my best moments as a Doctor Who fan ever. Going to the pictures to watch it, so I'm really glad I did. However, I watched it again, just in a normal setting, and it's really good. I still really enjoyed it, but. I don't fucking care about reviewing it and flaws and whatever. I just had the best time going to the pictures, so I'm buzzing still. When I got to the gig, fucking lads were there, a couple of rock stars, and I just got out of the car like, they just looked at me like, what the fuck? I should have let it out in the cinema, but yeah. So yeah, it was. So I'm buzzing. I'm probably not the best person to host the podcast because I'm just like,
well, you're the only one that can be asked, Bob. That's why.
Craig couldn't be bothered to turn up, So
bless him.
Well,
but so it was an experience.
So
it was
what didn't you like about it, Bob?
Well, I'll tell you what I didn't like. Not that I didn't like it. Was at first when Omega came out of the fucking hall. I was like, oh no, it's actually the fucking mummy of Sutek. I genuinely thought because it was a bit that shit.
Yeah.
I thought that was the worst part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like whatever. It's a bit like it just didn't. I don't know, but many other things landed. It was how it maybe had to be dealt with. But that to me was the only kind of.
I like that bit because it come out because what they're going to do, they're either going to go back to basics and use the Omega what everyone knows, or go completely different. And
yeah, you
you're
can't.
either going to have one or the other.
Somebody's going to be unhappy. Yeah.
Yeah. So they brought out the big CGI, but that clashes with the bit I didn't like when you had this big thing about Rani all the way through the series, and it just goes.
Yeah.
I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, this is the whole thing that I was really disappointed with, was the fact that they've been building the Rani for 2 seasons, basically, with Mrs. Flood and then Archie Punjabi.
Only half of us missing. It's fine. We've still got
I
Anita
thought
Dobson.
this, we've still got Anita Dobson, which is all right. But then the fact that they're in the last 2 episodes, they were going Omega, and you think, okay, but they dispatched him within half an hour.
Yeah,
half an hour was gone, and then they had half an hour dealing with Poppy and whatever things were going on with Poppy. All right, so I just thought maybe, as there is rumours finding out, the episode was extended by a bit just to be able to incorporate the fact that Ncuti had decided to leave with his reshoots and stuff that had happened.
I think you can see that tagged on.
Yeah, you can. You can definitely see it. That was one of the problems as well. Yeah,
I must admit though,
I think they did fantastically though.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it.
No.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll be honest,
it does feel slightly as if something's been stitched together at the end.
But I mean, I'll be honest, I genuinely thought for the first maybe half an hour, 40 minutes, this is a finale of Doctor Who. It was fucking big. It was, and also what I loved about it was what tends to happen in Doctor Who finales is they sort of stop after the first episode and go somewhere else, and it's like a totally different thing. Whereas this was a continuation. It kicked off again with Ncuti falling. And then when Anita fucking opened the time hotel door, just that was just wonderful. A great
way to put in.
And she was, and we all enjoyed her in that Christmas special, and I think we all sort of agreed she'd be a good companion. So it was good, but it felt like a proper continuation of story until it, they solved the first bit, then moved on to the next bit. So the Omega. What did you think of the Omega bit? Omega bit, Liam.
The whole Omega bit, I do think is a bit of a failure in terms of it just didn't even need to be Omega essentially, in terms of, because it wasn't anything even remotely related to what we've seen Omega as before. I think at least with Sutek, the big dog thing, we'd seen that in a different format at the end of Pyramids of Mars when he's coming through. Whereas this was just kind of it was like, oh, okay, so he looks like this because of this. It's like, okay, fine, but unless someone was going, this is Omega, you wouldn't have known. Because obviously he's got a different voice because it's Nick Briggs, obviously, rather than either of the other 2 actors who played him previously. And there's nothing looking at him which would go to you, that's Omega. So it's just kind of one of those things where I was like, it just kind of seemed to be a reveal for reveal's sake, in terms of at the end of the last episode, we're bringing Omega back. And then here he is. He's not really anything like Omega, but we're saying he is. Yeah. And now he's gone back to the Underverse, and that's that. And never shall we talk of it again. Well,
that's right. It seemed like it was a waste. It definitely felt like there was I mean, you have such a potentially iconic season-defining villain that you just basically bring up and put down again in 5 minutes in a quite Deus Ex Machina kind of way.
Yeah.
It's like you've wasted something there. You might as well have not put it in.
Yes.
Just have the threat that this could happen without all the CGI creature.
I mean,
and you would have served it a lot better, I think.
The one thing on reflection, and again, it happened. It was a plot device, and it worked to a degree, I suppose, to move it on. But the Rani was so good. She was properly the Rani in this. The whole calculation of, and when Mel met her, oh my god. But then when she's got, it was kind of like a bit of a shit Omega, and then a bit of a shit eating the Rani. Because the Rani was ace. So it was kind of like, well, I get it. They had to move on, and Ncuti throughout was just fucking brilliant in this. So it kind of, yeah, it did. I don't know, but
yeah.
I know
it was the end of the chapter. Move on.
Yeah, but I was hoping for something a bit grander with that. You got Rani, and then when she realizes what Omega's going to do, which is Omega by name, nothing else, what we know of, and he decides, I'm going to eat Time Lords. I thought you might see something like we've done before, where she decides, right, I'm going to go against him myself, and need some kind of fight or clash or something what spins it off. But he just goes, I'll just eat you.
Yeah,
and the other one fucks off.
Yeah, well, this is it. This is where I quite like the bit where the doctor's there right after the Rani's been eaten and Mrs. Flood's standing there, and he goes, we're Time Lords, we're going to do this, that, and the other, or something, and then she goes, well, not really, and she picks up the time ring and just vanishes, right, and with the two Ronnies joke. And I thought,
that was very good, by the way.
Yeah.
It got a good big laugh at the cinema. The two Ronnies.
Yeah, it got a good laugh.
Yes, no, it was funny, but it is that thing of, like you say, it's like at that point, basically, and I actually checked the time when I was like, which obviously you wouldn't have been able to do in the cinema, but I paused the episode at that point after that had all happened, and the Ranis had gone, Omega had gone, and I was like, oh, we've got like 36 minutes left of the episode. I was like, you've pretty much wrapped it up. So now what's going to happen? What have you... I was like really intrigued at that point, but it felt very much like, and obviously we know now, the information is very much out there that there were a lot of reshoots involved in this episode. And you really feel it at that point where you're like, oh, wait a minute. The actual kind of story of this finale has been wrapped up kind of like with over half an hour to go. And where are we going to go now? And like you say, well, I really enjoyed that bit up to, despite the Omega stuff.
Yeah.
It was still fun. Like the opening kind of like 25 minutes kind of thing, which is basically up to that point, was really fun, really epic. I can imagine that when, the unit tower starts fighting the bone beasts and the Doctor gets on the Rani's kind of scooter and flies off. I mean, that looked genuinely epic.
I've got to interrupt you there. Yeah. The Flash Gordon mobile, which I missed saying last week.
Yeah.
I can imagine that looked amazing in the cinema, because that looked like more kind of epic than Doctor had ever looked. So that was like really blockbuster cinema moment. And that was all really impressive. It was a really epic kind of like finale. But then obviously it goes off into a different direction. It's very much an episode of two halves.
Oh yeah, and I think. Sorry, go on, Cliff. I was going
to say just while it's in my head, I love the bit where Anita's going through the doors to understand who Doctor Who is, and she got the whole history. I thought, that's great. Back. But there's one bit where she opens it and she sees him and Rogue, and it's like, oh, he's gay, and it's like, did you not know that?
That got a big laugh. that got a big laugh, and she said they immediately went to see Raphael and got pregnant. Yeah. Or whatever. It was like, she's so good. But that whole time, Hotel, it was a good harken back, like it was at the end with Joy to the world. These little things creeping in. I mean, I've got to say, I know I'm jumping forward, but I didn't know Jodie was going to be in it, so that was just amazing.
That was that was good.
Class. So good. But the bit at the end, so I said last week, right, it'll end with him regenerating. Right? And that'll be awesome. I was like, oh, I'm right. And then I had absolutely no idea, and I love the fact that Billie Piper just appeared. And I'm like, that just took me over the edge. I was like, how the fuck have you kept that secret? I mean, I don't know if they have, but I didn't know about it. And honestly, I just thought, I clapped Russell T Davies saying, you've pulled it off for me anyway. I never thought anyone could pull it off.
I did tell you guys a couple of weeks ago that just be aware that the spoilers are being released on the thing, and one of them I knew she was coming back, right? And she was.
Glad you didn't tell me how to be.
No. This is why I put the message in. Just be careful that there are spoilers out there. But the Jodie Whittaker appearing, the cinema behind me and in front of, they all clapped, cheered. There was gasps. Really, really happy to see her. And she Jodie just
class.
knocked it out the park. There was
Brilliant.
10 minutes or 5 minutes she was on
5
screen.
minutes, if that.
Absolutely
Yeah.
brilliant. I loved it. And then when Billie Piper appeared right at the end, again, there was loads of gasps, clapping. Well, maybe not clapping, but like just exclamation marks. Yeah. And I was really happy to see Billie Piper back.
Well, I think the thing is, sorry, John, I was going to say, just the thing at the time when it happened, obviously, you're in the moment, you're in the cinema, you're with other people. Like, irrelevant of if she's probably not going to be the Doctor, but like the fact that he regenerated into her for whatever reason it was, I came out going, Billie Piper's the 16th Doctor. I mean, she probably isn't, but that doesn't matter. The fucking shock of that was absolutely one of the best. The only other one I can think of is the Derek Jacobi reveal as the Master, when I didn't know that. And it's stuff like this. This is why I love Doctor Who, and I'm so happy.
Just to bring some balance to the Force, I think it's incumbent upon me to bring you my experience. When so I mean, I enjoyed the ending. I thought these fuckers surprised me with the Billie Piper. I need to go actually, because I don't want to watch it twice because I'm not a fucking Doctor Who fan. But I do like to watch other people review them and stuff like that occasionally when I've enjoyed the episode enough. And I've not been doing that for this entire season until this one when I thought, oh, I will do it. And ever since then, fucking YouTube feeds is full of like Doctor Who's dead sort of nonsense again. I did so well to get rid of that out of all my.
I've never felt more alive.
There are lots of middle-aged men going, oh, fuck off, right at the end of that.
That's because I'm not middle-aged. I'm very,
yeah, but I mean, I just that surprised me a little because I thought it was brilliant. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, can I just like bring it back to you, Doctor Who theory boys? So Billie Piper, am I right in assuming that we don't expect it to be Rose? We just expect it to be Doctor with the face of Billie Piper.
No. I don't think it's good. Well, for my money, because it does at the end, introducing Billie Piper. It normally says as the Doctor, which it didn't say as the Doctor.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, because it's not going to be on for 2 years, is it? So it's kind of like,
she's not got anyone.
Don't know if it's going to be on at all. Like, still nothing confirmed.
But Russell T Davies leaving it on that Billie, who was his first, and just that was just nice. I don't care if she's a Doctor or not bothered. I just thought it was brilliant.
I've just got to finish. It might not be Rose or the Doctor.
No, I don't think
it might be the moment.
The moment to fit. I like that.
Could be like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dave.
Explain the moment.
The moment was the day of the Doctor. There was a thing called the moment, which was portrayed by Billie Piper.
Oh, that was is that the
super weapon in that story?
Yeah, she's looking to the heart of the TARDIS or something.
That's it.
Yeah, that one.
So we've seen printed on the TARDIS. That was the last person.
In fact, she was That was an excellent episode for Billie Piper.
Yeah. I mean, amazing. Whatever happens in terms of Billie Piper, I have absolutely no issue with that whatsoever. Like you say, there has been, if you look on anything like Twitter or something, it's just a bunch of angry twats just being angry for anger's sake. In terms of Billie Piper, I mean, she's number one, she's an incredible actress. Not just with Doctor Who, but since then, obviously, she's written and starred in I Hate Susie, which was absolutely fucking fantastic, and she is amazing in that show. Really, really incredible. So I think she's advanced as an actress since she did Doctor Who, and I totally 100% think she'd actually make a wicked Doctor, and she'd be great.
No, me too.
I don't necessarily think she's going to be the Doctor. I think there's probably more to it than that, or they're leaving it deliberately open-ended and not saying as the Doctor because of the fact that they are aware. I mean, this bit in terms of the Billie Piper was literally shot a couple of months ago in terms of so they would have known then that, potentially it's not coming back. I think will not come back for a long time, maybe. So I think they want to give themselves kind of get outs to kind of be able to do other things, So she's
a placeholder, more or less.
Yeah, exactly. I think at the end of the day, Yeah, exactly. Obviously, Billy and RTD will be mates at the end of the day. And I think she is a star. She's a big star. And, I think it makes total sense for him to go like, hey, you know what? We've suddenly got to reshoot this ending because now Ncuti's leaving and everything like that. Don't just want to leave it with him mid regeneration or anything like that. I want to give some kind of massive surprise that will get people talking. Could you come in and regenerate and we'll work it all out later? Going totally possible. Because at the end of the day, she's not going to have to sign any contracts or anything like that because there's nothing in place at the moment. So she can literally just come in and do it and they can literally work it out later in terms of what's happening.
She also could have filmed it at home. Just send her a HD camera.
Yeah.
Because also Russell T Davidson knows she could keep a secret.
But I don't think
you kind of like you've got a team of people, but it's you make that team small, like they would have done with Jodie on set TARDIS kind of stuff, and you would have made. But you still have to have an editor. You still have to have some kind of director.
Yeah.
So it could be as tight as possible. But if one little showrunner hears about something, it's NDAs mean nothing.
So
there's a special episode of Unleashed being released next week. To cover 20 years, and she might have just come in, on the ruse that I'm just going to discuss my previous time on Doctor Who, but actually she just filmed that regeneration scene. Then,
because
I was going to say they didn't mention Billy on Unleashed as well.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. Yeah.
Sorry,
but she's front and center on the next episode because the pictures that they're using are her and David Tennant. So we might also get a bit more of who she's going to be playing next week.
I think they'll certainly dive into how that was done and stuff next week. But I think the fact that they didn't go into it on Unleashed shows how locked down it was. However, of course, as Suki is clearly aware, it did leak in terms of the fact that Billie Piper was going to be the Doctor did leak. Now, I don't follow any of these leaks and stuff because I don't want to know.
I never saw that. I never saw it. But Jodie either.
Yeah, it did everything. Basically, pretty much I didn't know about Jodie. I didn't know about Jodie at all. But a huge amount of stuff did leak, including the Billie Piper thing. Randomly, it was like Saturday or something. Actually, no, I think it was Friday. One of my Spotlight co-hosts, Matt, was catching up with the rest of the season following us actually doing a podcast with Suki where we were talking about Doctor Who, and he was like, right, I'm going to catch up with the last season because he hadn't seen any of it yet. And he'd looked just online, seen an article about Billie Piper being the next Doctor. And I was like, and he was like, yeah, have you seen articles that saying Billie Piper's going to be the next Doctor? I was like, what are we talking about? And he sent me an article from Comic Book Resources, quite a big comic book website. And literally, but it wasn't even like a headline, Billie Piper is not. It was kind of like a random kind of like article buried in the middle somewhere was like, oh, Billie Piper will be the next Doctor. And I actually knew that Comic Book Resources uses AI to generate a lot of his articles now. And I was like, I just said, no, this has got to be bollocks. They probably pumped it into an AI and not proofread it kind of thing. So I totally ignored it and still didn't realize. So when it came, I was like, what? This is actually true. What the fuck?
I listened to a couple of other podcasts and they've been discussing it for the last 2 weeks. That Billie Piper was going to be the Doctor. And they'll basically say 99% sure that she's going to be the Doctor. And then on Saturday itself, BBC News interviewed somebody about the episode that evening. And they mentioned that Billie Piper was going to be the Doctor. Basically 3 or 4 hours before the episode was being shown. It's just a rumour, but we think Billie Piper's going to be the new Doctor. It's just a rumour.
I'm so glad I missed all this.
That person was actually on the podcast.
Out of the loop. I'm so happy. I'd have been fucking fuming. I mean, I was a bit mad about Midnight, which is why I didn't enjoy The Well so much. That I'd seen that. Just fuck off spoilers. Why do people want to spoil
I can't believe it. I don't understand why it hurts your ability to watch it.
Because John, no, but there's that feeling that I get from my favorite TV show, and it happens very rarely. Like I said, it happened with Derek Jacoby as a master.
Do you know what?
The
good side effect of this, Bob, is that you have dropped off social media almost entirely.
Yeah.
So that's it's good for your mental health and good for your Doctor Who spoilage.
Yeah. True. It's good for your mental health and attacking people.
I've got one more gripe.
Hold on, just before we say that,
before
you say, Billie Piper is going to be in the new season on Wednesday, season 2. So you'll be able to watch her in that if you guys watch Wednesday on Netflix. Wednesday.
Oh, she Wednesday.
Yeah,
Wednesday's good.
Adam's Family thing. Right, so she's going to be in the new season of that, so I'll be able to watch that soon.
Is she going to be a teacher? She's going to be a teacher, do you think?
I hope so.
She's a bit Helen Bonham Carter, isn't she? Now she's a bit older, I think.
I don't think it's set at school.
Yeah, a little bit.
Not like she just got that kind of like crazy. She'd make a good doctor.
I know what you mean. But the whole leak thing is bizarre to me because I don't have the thing that you have, Bob, where it would literally actively ruin it for me or anything like that. I don't have that. But I don't want to know in terms of if I can avoid it, which to be honest, I'm I think you can if you don't deliberately look at these places, you will avoid it. And I did apart from that random thing. Because I would rather just be with something like Doctor Who, which I care about deeply and stuff. I would rather just have the surprise as I'm watching it, kind of thing. Because it's like, oh, that's nice. It's a pleasant thing. I didn't know Jodie was coming. It was a real oh yeah, great. Really excited to see her. Didn't know Susan was coming, all that kind of stuff. But like I say, with this, because I so actively just thought, no, there's no way that's true. I was still surprised by it.
That's amazing. I like that. And do you know what? Probably if I'd have heard that, I'm like, yeah, no way.
I was just like, no, what are you talking about? And so it really was a massive shock still. But I was left thinking, how on earth he felt? Because that must have been so locked down. The Billie Piper, so locked down. Surely they could literally work it out by process of elimination. Who the fuck leaked this?
Cliff, you want it to be negative? Sorry, John.
Sorry, got a negative. Got a negative. It's not really that negative, but I miss Susan on this episode.
Yes.
I think she was probably.
I was like,
she was.
Yeah.
She was.
That was my own little gripe because you sort of have a teased in. I thought I knew one going to get rolled back. Couldn't afford him, and he's not going to do one of those another TV things from his bedroom again, is he?
That was filmed. That was filmed at the previous episode that he did. So he did it.
Oh, was it?
Filmed it, yeah.
And they very well
just told stick himself in front of a green screen, and we'll film this. And they used that clip from whenever he filmed that.
Sorry, that's clever.
He probably had to say a bunch of stuff. Just in case they needed anyone.
That's good thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest with you about the Susan thing.
It's because of everything. Practice.
Yeah, and everything else that went on. To be honest with you, I quite like the fact that Susan was just in it. Caroline Ford was in it just for that little bit of, distraction in that episode. In the Select Song Contest, just to bring him back. Or I quite like that little glimmer. I didn't care. I know that sounds harsh. Whatever.
It still fitted in as a story. I think it was just as you're watching it, you're like, oh, I wanted to bring a little bit more in.
Yeah.
I mean, if it had been Fraser Hines, I'd have been fuming if they didn't bring him back at least for 4 hours. Because I don't really care about Susan. That sounds harsh, but
see what I'm thinking, because we have got the boss mentioned by Anita.
Oh yes,
right. When we had, because there's a cut scene where the Doctor and Belinda are dancing in the nightclub, and apparently Susan was watching them from above on one of the balconies.
There's literal photos of the scene out there,
because she was wearing a different costume as well when they did the Unleashed.
Do you know what? That's reminded. Was it what? So you're saying that the Doctor and I think he were dancing in the nightclub and being watched by Susan? Yeah. I got a flashback memory there to a black and white Doctor Who that we watched, a William Hartnell one, I think, where I don't know which one was it.
The War Machines.
The War Machines.
Yeah, the War Machines.
Ben and Polly dancing in a nightclub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And wasn't Susan there at that point?
No.
So who was the little one then?
Dodo.
Oh, Dodo.
Yeah.
Dodo,
sorry. Shit. Yeah. Sorry.
Which was exactly the same as Susan, pretty much. So
yeah, she did look similar. Yeah.
They all look the same, don't they, Bob? All look the same, don't they?
They do. And that's what they like. That's what they like back then.
I wonder then, that club scene which we know about under Susan, I wonder if Susan was meant to be in it, but after they have to do these reshoots, you have to bring her out to get the story.
It was exactly that.
Probably.
See, from what I've heard, this is supposed to be just a 50 to 55 minute episode, and they've just added on like 10 to 15 minutes to cover the regeneration, and that's when they cut Susan out. Basically,
it could be that the next episode is Susan and Billie Piper sitting down and Susan saying, "Well, why did you pick that face?" And
that'd be pretty cool.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
Well, there's a very odd thing, and like I say, this is again to the reshoots. I've rewatched the scene, and it is very clear. The scene where the baby first disappears and everything like that in the TARDIS.
That's a cool scene.
Yeah, no, it is.
When the jackets disappear in the past.
Yes, yeah. Right. But when there's a bit where Ruby is in the TARDIS going like, wait, guys, because she's realised everything. There's a bit where the Doctor turns around, is like, no, what you talk about? Actually, Belinda, right, where are we going next? All this stuff, and he starts programming the TARDIS, and there's kind of Murray Gold's kind of the score at that point from Murray Gold is very mournful and stuff like that. And if you watch Ncuti's performance, in that scene and stuff like that, he turns around to Ruby while Belinda is looking away, and he winks at her, as he's going, oh yeah, no, I don't know what you're talking about, there's no baby kind of thing. And then when he sees Belinda's got her back turned, he winks at Ruby to be he knows what's happening. And obviously lots of people have theorized it's right, because we know everything in the garden and stuff like that was reshoots almost a year later, that actually originally it was a case of the Doctor does know, but Belinda doesn't, so he's keeping quiet for Belinda's sake and has to live with that pain and everything like that. And it's a bit oh yeah, keep quiet, because kind of thing. But then they decided later, and obviously they couldn't reshoot that entire scene with everyone just to remove that wink, so it's in there now. It's very odd. I've tried to watch that scene a couple of times, try and reason it any other way, be wait, could he be winking at her for another reason? You watch it like that and you go, oh wait a minute, no, this seems really weird now, as if how could this mean anything else? And yeah, it just feels like there's a lot of reshoots have had to cobble stuff together to change things, and yeah, it's
so we're saying that the Doctor pretending that
he knows.
Yeah, I got that from that.
Yeah, but then obviously,
I couldn't figure out why he was so persistent to your blonde one.
Blonde Ruby.
Ruby.
You blonde.
Yeah, I know.
You sound like the Rani.
Sorry, I'm sorry about that. They're all the same. Is there any? Yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I'm asking.
Yes. Yeah.
It seems very abrupt. I've now just very stubbornly saying no. Don't.
I know, but was that more of his lying in front of Belinda?
No, because I think that's one of the reshot bits. I think.
Yeah, that was confusing. Yeah.
So it's really confusing, and it's and also in that bit, I couldn't help think of 73 Yards, because we actually talked about this when we watched 73 Yards, because I was on for that one. The Doctor's really fucking rude to Ruby throughout that when she keeps going oh, Doctor, this happened. He's like, no, it's not, you stupid cunt. And whereas and this, and that's what he was being here. She was going Doctor,
it was the gaslighting. It's triggering now.
I must admit, Millie Gibson, Ruby was phenomenal again in this.
Yeah,
yes,
so
excellent.
Great
excellent.
to see.
He's one of the best I'm not gonna. I don't even want to say up and coming, whatever you want to say. Because I watched her in Coronation Street, but she's phenomenal.
I didn't see her in Cora. She reminds me of a Rose.
I don't. Well, no, but I'm not going to say better, but I am going to say better. I don't know. There's something just about her that just seems to work. I don't know because I'm Northern or whatever, but whatever she seems to do, she takes on these like 2 major episodes, 3 yards and the think tank one. Just awesome.
Oh, Lucky Day.
A lucky day, just amazing. And again, in this, she's just so strong. And I'd say, without a doubt, Ncuti in this was phenomenal. And,
he was very good.
He's just top draw. He's top draw, and she is on a par with that. I'll put it that way. Not that I'm knocking Belinda Chandra because she was great as well. In fact, everyone in this for me was great. But you've got. I can see why Ncuti's chasing Hollywood because he's that good. But there's no reason why Millie Gibson couldn't chase it too. For me,
I agree.
The whole bit at the end when she's that scene was great. Apart from that wink bit, was the coat thing, and then just disappears like the coat does. I was like, that's a brilliant scene, really clever. And then the Doctor just did the kick up the ass he gets when no one remembers, and she's like, "Well, you brought me back." It's always about saving the one person, never letting anyone go. And I think sort of all that stuff at the end, I think you can sort of blase a little bit the first half an hour and go, awesome action-packed fun finale. Great scene unit, all guns blazing, bone beasts, Rani, brilliant, all that. But then there's a lot to pick apart in the second bit. And I think they did a very good job considering like they've had to reshoot loads, for Ncuti leaving, do whatever. I didn't pick up on the wink, I'm not going to lie. Now I'm going to see it, which might spoil it for me. But I think that everything they did, it was bringing it back to this whole thing like with David Tennant and Wilf, saving the one person.
Oh, yeah.
Well, see, the thing, I think the difference is that he's demonstrated, he's just demonstrated straight up that he's willing to die trusting her because he doesn't know, as far as I can read it, he doesn't know that she's right. She's the only one who, with this opinion, but she's willing to risk his entire life because he trusts Ruby in that much, and that is quite a powerful thing that we say.
Massive, and it's now I know about the wink. It's changed it a little bit, but it doesn't really matter. But yeah, it was played, and also the fact that Belinda wasn't doing a Tegan. She was trying to get back for Poppy when this is all transpiring.
Yeah, I
thought that was great.
Was that rewrite? Because that like a million. All right, good. So it wasn't.
No, I think it was rewrite because there's
No, I mean I don't mean is it rewrites? It's like that they weren't showing exactly what was in those episodes, are they?
No.
That's fine. So they lied to me. They gassed.
She was always saying, "I need to get home. I need to get back for the 24th. You can't go back to 24th." But she never said, "I need to get back to my daughter Poppy."
Yeah, that's what I thought.
In existence.
I wasn't thinking, "Shit, I forgot all that." I really must pay more attention.
But then that made more sense than just like a Tegan going, "Oh, I just want to go, mate."
It's a massive cheat, though, isn't it? It's a bit of a writing no-no. He's doing stuff like that.
So all them scenes were filmed at the time of them recording the episodes. Great, fantastic. But then you got the whole thing with Belinda trying to get back to her daughter. And because she's the house at the Robot Revolution, she's living with other people. Would she have a daughter there? And there's also like, I had an argument with somebody online about this is a mother wanting to get back to her daughter. All right. So she will be constantly going, I need to get back. I want to go back. Because the Doctor was tricked by the gods into not understanding or not listening to that bit of the dialogue that she was being told. And we weren't hearing that bit of the dialogue of like she's got to get back to her daughter, Poppy, and all this stuff. It just come across as I said, she's a bit. Why she always wanted to go back for? Why did she want to go back?
Yeah, when I say it's a writing no, it's like you are literally taking a piss out of your audience by trying to get them to pretend that, oh no, we planned all this shit. Just own the fact that you're having to rewrite because Shooting was fucking off. I do feel cheated when they try to tell me that, all the clues were there. Look, we'll show you with the flashbacks, and the clues weren't there. They're just trying to say, that whole thing is wasted on you.
I completely get what you're saying, and I maybe agree to some point, but I don't know. I think I'm very much rose tinted glass in this one, and I just enjoyed the fact that
it didn't ruin the whole thing. It didn't ruin the whole thing at all.
I think there's this concept of he regenerates to shift reality 1 degree. So things are going to change. And that one thing is she lives in this lovely house with their daughter or her daughter, and that kind of who's got a lovely dad.
So you're saying that 1 degree, the only way to solve it was to essentially make the reality that Polly is her daughter rather than. Yeah, it's.
I'm not. John,
the house.
I think.
No, I know. I'm not complaining about it. You don't
yes.
house,
right? Okay,
don't
sorry.
defend all that stuff.
Yeah, this is something. It's funny because obviously I've seen loads of different opinions about this online about the whole Belinda thing, and I've got to say it's one of those things where it's like I've been trying to work out in my head exactly what occurred here because I think the way I watched it, and I'm genuinely not sure if this reading is right or not. At the end of the day, when I was watching it in the moment, I thought that when they revealed all the little kind of fake flashbacks of being like, she'd gone actually been saying, "Doctor, I've got to get back because I've got a fucking baby."
What, Doctor? Go get a better, got a fucking baby, mate.
Yeah. I assumed that had always been the case. That had always been real. She always had a baby, and the baby was being babysat by her parents at her parents' house, and she had to get back there for them and get back to her daughter. And then something with the wish world thing had caused them to basically forget that, to kind of like, she had been taken out of reality by the whole what happened with the wish world stuff. So they'd all forgotten that she existed, and then essentially he uses the regeneration agency to bring her back into existence, but she had always existed. Whereas I see some people seem to believe that it's like, no, she was only created by the wish thing. She was never really Belinda's daughter to begin with, and all of this stuff where now she imagines she is retroactive, which I'm genuinely not sure.
I think that second one, because
right.
Poppy is referenced in the baby.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, and therefore there's the link, because they had to have some kind of link, and that's come through. He sort of mentions it when it comes to Ruby, when she goes, "That's Poppy," and it's sort of imprinted, and that's how they brought it through. And then at the end bit, when she's going, "Oh, got to get back to my daughter," that's like a rewrite. So, like John was saying, it's a bit of like someone's just gone, right. Well, I don't know what to do. We rewrite, and that's what they've done.
I think this is also down to the fact that they decided to drop Millie Gibson for the second season as a companion and bring in Belinda. So, because there was,
I thought she got dropped. Sorry, I didn't know this.
Yeah,
Millie Gibson got dropped as a companion.
Yeah, this is the rumours that have been going around for about 2
Bob
years.
Bob is a Millie Gibson stan. I've decided definitely.
Yeah, so there was. So when in Space Babies, Poppy says, "I wish you was my mummy and daddy," to both Billy, to Ruby and the Doctor.
Billy,
and
stop! They're all the same. These blondes, they're all the same. Rani's all here.
And then when it came to this season, it would have been, I think, Ruby, because there would have been no Belinda. It would have been Ruby with the baby.
That would have made more sense. That would have connected the dots.
And then, because Millie Gibson was sort of written out as companion, they bought Verona Sethering. Written out.
No one drops Millie.
Dropped. And then they brought her in, this new companion. They've had to change things around. This is the whole thing, the rewrites. It gets very confusing, but it would have worked better with Millie as a parent.
Yeah. Because she had the Space Babies adventure. That's the thing.
She's got it in the head.
What throws the spanner in the works, because it's like you say, Chet, it's that thing of going like, if it had been her, it would make perfect sense because you go, that was that was like her first proper adventure after the Goblin thing. It was her first proper like journey in the TARDIS. So it would make sense if something had been imprinted on her then and then travels all the way through to the end. Whereas because it's Belinda, it goes, wait a minute, but she never met the Poppy when she was a space baby. But it's called the same name, so it's got to be connected. This is it's very confusing.
It's amazing. It's amazing the twists and turns of the explaining Doctor Who to a Doctor Who fan explaining to themselves.
Yeah,
their own head canon.
And it is.
Their own head canon is the hardest to fucking define.
Yes.
You can't work it out.
Yeah.
You can't express it, can you?
But the thing though, it does work still. It doesn't spoil my enjoyment to the episode.
It's not great, but it does. But it's the episode.
I get it would make more sense if
the episode was properly landed. Yeah.
Oh no, I think it was the best finale of Doctor Who.
I enjoyed it more than
New Who. It felt like a finale, and I thought it was a brilliant sort of finale for Ncuti as well. And I think you could see both in Unleashed and on screen his relief to now not be the Doctor, so he can go on and do what he needs to do. I don't think it was, it's a big thing, and I think he's realised how big it is to be the Doctor, and then he's a phenomenal actor, just like proper. He's got the world.
He's got a hell of a listing on his resume, though, hasn't he?
And he's got a rate. He's got a great. Yeah, and so he's got that, and I think you could sort of see his relief because you don't do roles like this, and if you then want to become Ncuti Gatwa Hollywood star and actor, which there's no reason why he could be. I mean, that man can do a fucking face of everything.
Yes. I've never seen it. Do you know what it is, Sucky? It's Trent Alexander-Arnold leaving Liverpool, isn't it? All over again. All over again.
He don't give a fuck. He don't give a fuck.
Yeah, he's every right to go, but fucking hell, it hurts.
The whole thing with Ncuti is this thing, because I was really interested in this. I was looking at the timeline in terms of exactly what happened. And he was cast in Doctor Who 1 month after he'd been cast in Barbie as one of the Kens. And obviously at the time, Doctor Who, huge role, and it was RTD's coming back, plus the Disney deal, all of that stuff. It must have seemed absolutely massive. And he would have thought, of course, obviously I'm going to take this role. Fantastic kind of thing. But then, literally, by the time, because they filmed and made this so far in advance, by the time the first season, before the first season itself rolls around, he's already been singing and dancing on stage with Ryan Gosling at the Oscars at the end of the day. They did that in like March 2024 before the first like season's even going out. He's like on there. And I'm like, whoa. And I was like, I can't believe I'm watching Doctor Who singing and dancing on the fucking Oscars stage at this point. And I was like, Jesus Christ. I mean, yeah, he is going places. I did think at that moment, I wonder if he would have taken this role if he'd been offered it a year later. Kind of thing. Like, I wonder if he would have done. And I think once it became clear, because they filmed all of this so far in advance, that there was going to be a potential break, hiatus, or whatever like that. And if he was going to sign another contract, he was going to have to essentially put his career on hold while he waits for a potential Doctor Who pickup that may never come. I think he was on the phone to his agent being, get me the fuck out of this.
He's a smart guy, phenomenal actor, all them things, and I wish him all the best. He has been an amazing and different Doctor Who. He's brought me out of my comfort zone on occasion with babes and huns and whatever else. Sexuality, blah, blah.
That TARDIS dress as well. That was incredible.
I fucking love the TARDIS dress.
Yeah, that worked.
If I'm cosplaying, I'm not doing Sylvester McCoy anymore. I'm doing Ncuti the TARDIS dress. But with that whole thing when he's put that jacket down, his theme came on,
becomes
he
himself.
walks out. He just fucking. He's amazing. He's an amazing Doctor. And
too good. Too good looking to be a doctor.
Oh, he's fantastic looking. But what I love about him is the fact
Jodie
that
said the same thing.
and that was great. You're so handsome. It was just
actually, Jodie was also all right about the size of the TARDIS as well.
Massive. I did love the. Oh, you redecorated. Don't like it. I love that little. All these little nods that they've done through this season to classic Who's been amazing. I mean, massive nod as well with the Rani and Omega and everything like that. But Ncuti has been. He's been again like Jodie, a woman playing a doctor. I've got to adapt, and I love that. I love seeing her again in this. This. Gay person of color, fantastic actor, fucking brilliant. I will never like the Huns and Babes ever, but I will never like them from anyone. So, but if I can, that's all it is. That's his doctor. He's been amazing. What a fucking.
The only thing.
I was going to say, and he leaves. He wants to leave. He leaves with joy. He's left us with these
literally
16 episodes of awesome, and pretty much all of them are pretty much awesome and different Doctor Who. Thank you, Ncuti. That's all. And I'll end there, Cliff.
My only thing would be whoever takes it on has to also take on such a backlash. Like the poor guy had such shit thrown at him on social media and all sorts. And it's not like he can just ignore it because he's got to be on social media himself to build his thing. So that's a lot to take on. And he took a lot of shit. And he's only a young lad as well.
He's getting very well recompensed. I'm not.
He is getting. He's
got guys to do his social media.
And also,
he's not sat in his flat feeling sorry for himself, man. He's all right.
I mean, he's a refugee who's a person of colour being brought up in fucking Scotland. He can fucking take a lot of shit.
And that's why
his determination, really that's why he's so successful in doing what he's doing. He's had to really fucking. Work at it and work through his life to do it.
I think he'll do like Matt Smith and start appearing in more films and do lots of. He's doing theatre stuff already. He's really good.
He's got a film coming out with Tom Hiddleston, I think, and Olivia Colman.
It's Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman. The Roses.
That sounds like a trio of people that have been called the next Doctor Who at some point in their lives.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where, like you say, one of the things I actually really liked about Jodie coming back, and I did think she was wonderful in her appearance here, was the fact that she was the perfect past Doctor to bring back to unite with She, because they are the two Doctors who have obviously had to face up against the most fucking online backlash bullshit. And it felt really nice for them to be united and kind of, appreciate each other and big each other up in that kind of moment. And also, obviously, we got justice for Phasmin at the end of the day, where they actually she was able to finally speak the words that she was never able to.
In the pictures, literally there was someone sat next to me bawling her eyes out with that bit, and I loved the fact they were, because it was like, because the person sat next to me was a lot younger than me, and that Jodie was maybe their doctor, and that this whole love thing with Yaz, although it never particularly bothered me either way. The fact someone felt that emotive about it was just beautiful, and I mean like fucking sobbing, and it was.
I had tears at that stage. I had tears, but the thing, I wonder if it was Ncuti's doctor that stopped Jodie's doctor from saying "I love you," because she already knows that she never said it. Otherwise, everything would have changed. So he stopped it from saying.
Timey-wimey sucky, they tell you.
We still say that, do we? We still say that, do we? Yeah.
And the other thing was, I'm glad the other doctor didn't turn up. He's always doing it.
I like that.
That was a lot of fun.
Hilarious. Yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
It was a very fan servicey moment, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, that was fun, and it was interesting in terms of, because I made prediction last week that I thought I genuinely 100% believed Fugitive Doctor and Tennant's 14th Doctor were going to turn up, and they didn't, and and I was genuinely surprised. So that was really made it. I'm glad.
I'm glad you said that, because that's all I was thinking. Then when Jodie appeared, I was like, what?
Yeah. Like I didn't for 1 second think she was coming back, and that was a really lovely. So, and I did, like I said, I do think it was perfect for it to be her.
It was perfect for her, to be with Ncuti.
Yeah. Because they essentially advocated for each other, like justified each other. It was just a really lovely moment to see them together and being like, they've had a multi-Doctor adventure now. Like I think, like and that's the ultimate for like a Doctor at the end of the day.
I think what would have really put me over the edge if just from the corner looking in through a window, Peter Capaldi, just keeping an eye on things, just keeping an eye on things.
I mean, the thing is, it would have been cool to see Eccleston, but it wouldn't have worked as well as with Jodie. Matt Smith, it's a bit of a lieutenant. It's like Capaldi, just evil's down would be cool. I mean, Paul McGann's gonna be the next Doctor anyway, so all the old fans are gonna be happy like me. Anyway,
keep shouting that, don't you?
Yeah, I'd fucking love it just before he gets too old.
Well, of course, Eccleston said live on stage that he did think Billie Piper should be the next Doctor.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
he said that at a convention. Yeah, he said Billie Piper should be the next Doctor. Like, he also said, fire Russell T Davis, fire Phil Collinson, fire Julia Garner, and I'll come back. There you go.
I must admit that was fucking brilliant when he was like, I'll tell you the truth, and it was when you're starting out a new production of that, mass and history, it's a massive task, and he wasn't used to I'm going to say amateurs, but people that didn't really know what they were doing because it was new again, wasn't it? So I can kind of see where he's coming from.
Well, I've heard some things about. Weirdly, I actually heard some things from some people who were working on set on Eccleston's season. At the end of the day, some people were working crew on Eccleston. Like this is like literally years ago in like 2009 or something like that. And apparently, everyone who was like working on the actual crew loved Eccleston, so he was an absolute legend, and would just literally had no time for any kind of star kind of like stuff. He would just come, have a drink with the crew, and chat to all them, everything like that. But the thing that always sound like is that because obviously he was very much someone who was a big actor in lots of really, really good productions. But this was his first thing where he was being the star of the show of a massive like franchise type thing. And obviously it's run in a different way. And apparently there were instances on set with him getting angry with people, like higher up people, like being nasty to like crew and stuff like that, and him defending them, which I totally fits in with him. Because I know people who have worked with Eccleston in terms of in documentary filmmaking. He's involved in a lot of political stuff, like he's very active and very true to his roots at the end of the day, and I can imagine that being completely true. He hasn't forgotten what it's like to be the little guy at the end of the day, Eccleston.
Yeah, good on him.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
Well, I'm going to go round and get our final thoughts in 2 words, if I can. There's, I think we've unpacked the mains, but if you've got anything else to say, let's go around. Cliff.
I'm just wanted to say, really enjoyed it. I do hope to bring it back, even if it's just a special for a couple of years, once a year, if they can. Something like that. Surely that's not going to cost a lot. And my 2 words would be sex way.
Sex way. Love it. John.
It was an episode of Doctor Who that I watched, and I will take away from that. No, it was perfectly fine. As for 2 words, flabbergasted antelope. I don't know.
Flabbergasted antelope. I like that. Liam, let's have you.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I enjoyed this episode. I think it's got its flaws, just as I think this whole era has its flaws in the way it's done. I think the reshoots are quite obvious, but at the end of the day, I feel like they've made the best of a bad situation. I think the fact that they actually managed to construct an actual regeneration storyline for him and actually write him out properly and tie that off is actually a really big achievement considering the kind of situation they were under. I do think it was a really good performance from Ncuti in this episode. I think he was really strong because he got to play a lot of facets of the Doctor in this episode. I think especially towards the end and in his regeneration scene, he was great. The Jodie scene, fantastic, probably my favorite thing, the whole thing. The ending, made my jaw drop at the end of the day. I think Billie Piper would be an amazing Doctor. I don't know if she will be the Doctor or what will even happen with Doctor Who beyond this point, but I am excited to find out. I'm okay if it has a rest and a break. Like, I'm genuinely all right with that if it happens. And I don't necessarily believe that RTD should keep being showrunner at this stage. And I don't mean that in a horrible way that some people mean, where they're like the ire and absolute like horrific abuse he gets online is just horrific. And it's just, and it is undeserved. But it doesn't mean that it's not perhaps his time to move on and let someone fresh come in. But my 2 words are, oh, hello.
Yeah, nice one, Liam.
So okay. Before
John. Yeah,
I remembered I actually had a point to make.
Yes.
There's 2 issues, both of them audio. One of them, the actual scoring and music was fantastic all the way through. 2, there were audio mix issues. Too loud at some times. It just was revolted. Just like it felt like it had been rushed. But the quality of the music good. The actual
mixing of it.
Yeah.
It was in occasions where it was detrimental to the dialogue.
Yeah.
And I think particularly when Granny was speaking, I didn't really understand what she said. Not because of her audibleness, but just because it wasn't loud enough. Or it was, but I did talking the music actually. What I really did like was the lullaby scene, like Poppy's lullaby. I thought it was lovely. She had a little,
she had a little thing.
The score was really strong in this episode. I got to say, really strong,
very emotive. But yes, overbearing in a few points. But yeah, overall brilliant.
That was it. That was it. Yep.
Suki.
There's a couple of things which is like. The unit tower becoming suddenly a battle station in the middle of the in the whatchamacallit. And I was thinking, great. And then all these characters suddenly regaining their memories. We had Rose Noble for one scene only, basically just turning up. Oh, you're back, because she'd been winked out of existence because Conrad doesn't see disabilities like that, or trans.
You say trans is a disability?
No, trans. I mean, trans.
Fucking hell! You are cancelled.
Shush. Then it's nice seeing the time ring again, and how she managed to escape. We also saw. I've got a problem with the wigs. I'm sure Ruby was wearing a wig, which really annoyed me, and I know Jodie had a wig on as well, because he's mentioned in Unleashed. But then we had Mel's there. Mel's
hair went crazy. She was the thing about Mel was hilarious, right? I'm just going to briefly touch this. So she was like, she said housewife, but spinster, whatever we said last week about making sure these women are, kept in the place, these single women or whatever. And then when she was let loose, she had the wild hair, and she was wild. And it was fucking ace. And when she was with the Rani, it was like, she was just wild. I loved it.
Yeah, that's what I've assumed.
On a ginger motorbike, ginger hair, ginger jacket, fucking ginger. Oh, yeah.
Everyone has said this. Everyone has said this thing about, how did her hair change and everything. I was like, I just assumed it was she snapped out of it, so she's gone back to normal kind of thing, because that kind of happened with everyone. They're all back in their normal clothes and stuff like that. And I just assumed it was like, it's just snapped out and now she's back to normal. And she was great in that moment where she drove in. Like,
Right. So really, cool, just full
really,
ginger.
really great.
And it was the lines were funny, like, I'm wearing tweed, like, I'm wearing a suit and all that and it got a good response to some. It was genuinely funny. Sorry.
The other thing was nice seeing a zero room or a zero cabinet or a zero box. And my 2 words, because I really did enjoy this episode. I watched it, as I say, in the cinema, and it was great atmosphere in there. Everybody was happy to watch it. And it sort of made me very, very happy to watch it. And I haven't seen it since, so it's gonna, because if I do see it again, it might just spoil my enjoyment of it, because I will be pointing out things which I haven't noticed the first time around, which I'm already doing anyway. But I do think it's really, really fantastic episode for if you watch it with a crowd. Now, my 2 words are just goodbye, Ncuti.
I think for me, it's
you soft bastard, Suki.
Yeah, what's that? Sorry,
I
what's that, John?
Bastard.
So,
I can't help it. I had my hanky, Hanky just fucking wiping away tears, sitting next to my son, and my son was giving me dirty looks. What are you doing?
I've got to be honest, I felt I welled up as well during it, so it's definitely worked.
John, I love the fact that this is just
not actual tears, just welled up. Steady on, guys.
Yeah, it's like an hour into the podcast, and he suddenly comes out with this emotion.
Well, you've not been the most positive person this season.
No, not at all.
And the fact that you have been, it's made me very happy.
It's because it managed to do that to me that I think I feel so strongly about why this was a good episode. That's it. It's very simple. I'm a very simple man, Bob. I'm easy to please.
I mean, I can only talk I'm 40, nearly 46 years old. And I can never remember not loving Doctor Who being my favourite TV show for many reasons. You know, the bond I got with my cousin Stephen. We used to copy the VHSs that dribbled out of the video shop, and just that whole escapism of Doctor Who for me as a kid. You know, if you're having a bad time or whatever, or a good time or whatever, it was just always there for me. It's always been, and I've had some amazing memories. I've done, you know, conventions in 1992 with Mark Gattis and all these people I didn't know who he was. John Pert. We met all these doctors. I met you guys. Done conventions, you know, when we've got absolutely hammered and beat a lot of gays in a punch bag, stuff like that. And I've interviewed Andrew Cartmel. You know, I've done so much with this fucking show, and I met so many people, and there's been so many magic moments. And I'll be honest with you, sat on my own in the pictures watching this, it felt by the end of the reason why fuck all the writing, fuck all what I don't care. It was just the experience that I don't know. I'm gonna fucking cry. Yeah. So
two words, Bob.
I don't know.
That's
three. That's three.
And go on, Cliff. You tell him. Yeah. Go on, Cliff.
I just think like very special.
All right, nice.
Oh no, the best. We'll go with the best. Don't know. It's just something.
It's not a big issue. Nobody gives a shit about the two words, really, Bob.
Suki, I didn't catch on to the thing about with Rose. So she had actually been blinked out of existence because Conrad is transphobic.
Yeah.
Like I didn't pick up on that at all.
She didn't fit the narrative of the family, women.
Doctor mentions it, doesn't he? He says, he would have. He mentions a little comment to her to say, John Conrad wouldn't have seen her.
Oh, right. Yeah, I didn't pick up on that at all. I think mainly because obviously she wasn't in the previous episode or saying at any point to be kind of like, to be shown in the weird refugee camp for the disabled people or anything like that. So, yeah, no, it was very, well, I suppose like you're saying with that is that you generally didn't see it. God, Conrad, what a cunt, eh? Like, literally.
But what a brilliant actor. What a
very, very good. Very good actor.
Who can stand toe to toe with the Doctor's a human. I think I want to see him back. I'd love to see Conrad back.
Well, he's doing well because he played the prince in the live action Little Mermaid.
Film, yeah.
The Disney film, so he's going places.
It was very funny when Ransom turned you on your side. I could eat olives off your dimples and stuff like that. Right, well there we go. Before we leave, this is like a little bonus section that I've just made up right now. I've heard a lot of things as we've been talking this podcast online. What the fuck? Being a man out of the loop nowadays, does it fucking matter? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
no, people are still getting paid. Things are still getting made. It doesn't really matter.
No, I'm not dismissing abuse in any shape or form, but I'm dismissing the fact that what's the fucking point? People, why just put your keyboard down and fuck off?
Completely. It's just very odd to see. I think it is ultimately. I think it is with all these things. I think it tends to be a very loud minority in regards to this kind of reaction to it. But if you open up like Twitter, which to be fair, I very rarely do these days, because obviously it's a hellscape. And if honestly, the only reason I'm even still on it is for there's a variety of reasons to think together. But I hardly ever post or do anything or even look at it. But the one time I will go and look out of morbid interest is when something like this happens, like a massive episode .2 or something like that, because I'm interested to see what people are saying and stuff like that. And the amount of horrific vitriol, negativity over this episode is overwhelmingly unbelievable. In a really like extreme
So
way.
like this might sound very naive and this on me, which I'm definitely none of them two things. So like I'm all for people on opinion either way. I couldn't give a shit. Whatever you want to believe, think, that's up to you. But are they directing abuse?
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%.
Like racist, misogynistic, homophobic, transphobic.
They're saying it in a certain way.
Yes,
you know what they're saying, because some of these people do know what they're saying, and they need to say it in a way that they ain't going to get themselves into trouble. This is not my doctor. Why is it not your doctor? But they're not going to say, because they know if I say, oh, because he's black or because he's gay, there's going to be things against starting people going to pile on. Now, obviously, with these people, they've got these echo. I've said this on this podcast before. They've got these echo chambers. If they've got enough people repeating the things right back at you, you're going to say it right back at them. Next thing you know, other people.
In no way does the content of the internet reflect reality.
Yes, exactly.
No, I get as long as you start with that premise, all the rest is just chaff in the wind. You know what I mean?
And I get all that, and echo chambers, fucking opinions, people, but directing abuse at individuals.
Yeah,
I think.
Have you not met humans before, Bob?
Yeah.
No. I know. But would they do it to their face? Would they?
Yeah. No, of course not. Of course not. But to be fair,
that's what pisses me off.
In this specific case,
if they're not doing it to the face, if they're not doing it to the face, does it matter? No.
Yeah. Well, in this specific case, I'm talking about two slightly different things in terms of the kind of abuse that people like Ncuti and Jodie will have suffered online as a result of being cast as the Doctor, and some people just vehemently believing the Doctor should always be a straight white man, is kind of a separate thing. Because for me, anything like that can just be instantly dismissed offhand, because it's just like, well, you're just a mental case, forget that kind of thing. Everything that, like, this is more, I'm talking about literally kind of vitriolic, vehemently people hating on this episode and this era, and not just because of, actually, if anything, I've seen a lot of people vehemently hating on this finale who are actually clearly like Ncuti and everything like that. And one of the reasons they're angry is the fact that obviously he's gone, and they've created a narrative in their heads where it's like he's been forced out or something, which clearly isn't the case. But that's how people do this thing. And they're directing a lot of vitriol, very, very angry stuff towards RTD. And he 100%, he gets like comments on his Instagram and stuff really nasty stuff all the time. To be fair to him, he literally openly tells people to fuck off on his Instagram comments. So fair play to him. But it is this thing of like this absolute kind of hateful rage towards it that's become a thing is very, very odd to me, in terms of like I say, it's fine to point out flaws and criticize, because there are flaws from that,
it's not perfect, but nothing is really.
But that thing of going like, people are acting like this is the worst Doctor's ever been. It's the worst. We live in a performative world.
Yes, where people have to be like that, and people feel driven to be like that socially. So, that's why it doesn't reflect reality, and that's why it isn't essentially meaningless. And in any situation, in any given life, where there's something that somebody likes, there will be somebody equally happy to shout to the top of their lungs that they don't.
Yes,
all of it is as meaningless as all the rest of it.
Completely,
you can figure that out. So, I mean, the problem is that like people give them air.
Yeah,
If we
yeah,
just
yeah,
ignore
yeah,
it,
yeah.
it just
fuel
is.
them,
It's just there.
It's
And I don't give a
lightness and
shit.
all that crap.
I
refuse to
don't
do
engage these people at all. I've
that. No, but
absolutely
we shouldn't even be talking about it.
no.
is what
But
I'm
I
saying.
think
Good
it's
point.
an interesting thing to note in sense of we're all hardcore. Well, apart from you, John, I know you don't want to be described as a Doctor Who fan, but we are all like Doctor Who fans. Have all been fans of Doctor Who for decades, everything like that, and we've all come into this. And I was really intrigued as to what this was going to be like when we came in. I thought, considering that reaction that had been online, I was like, oh, what's going to be the general consensus? And we've all come away generally positive at the end of the day. Like,
we
you know,
normally
we've all,
do. We normally do
but
because it's a silly, fucking brilliant and awesome children's TV
yeah,
show.
exactly.
Yes, I have a massive emotional life investment in the show, but it's still going to be cool.
Yeah,
It's still a fucking TARDIS. It's still a Doctor. It's still a crazy idea. It's still a different show every week, and that's all. It's a fucking TV show.
Mm.
You know, I mean, I'm not going to get overly political, but there's a lot worse things happening in this fucking world. You know, the fact that we're talking about nuclear weapons and upgrading them, fucking Palestine, fucking America, all of that. That's a much more important thing. You know,
It's all part of the same.
Escapism.
It's all part of the same problem. though. That's the thing. It's just.
But then I was going to say, yes, it's all part of this same fucking massive argumentative narrative. And
but
also,
it's just a very interesting counterpoint in terms of how different it is once, you know, we all get together and go, oh, actually, you know, that general consensus that you're seeing, it doesn't actually reflect reality. And this episode was called The Reality War, which is exactly what we're fighting every day.
And do you know what, Liam? That is the perfect ending for this podcast. We are fighting reality. And it has been a positive one. I just wanted to pose that question because it came up quite a lot in this podcast. But it has been an amazing journey. Thank you, Ncuti Gatwa. Thank you, Russell T. Davis. Thank you, Millie Gibson. Thank you, Belinda Chandra. I don't know her real name, actually. That's bad, isn't it? There you go. And just everyone that's been involved in this production of Doctor Who. It's been wonderful. And you've given me one of the biggest surprises in Doctor Who in my life. So thank you. And it's been awesome talking to you guys. Thank you, Liam, for joining us again. You popped in and out as we all have this season. We'll be back to reality at some point next month, reviewing some old bullshit. In fact, do you want to roll a dice?
Oh, no.
No, I can't let you do it.
Let's do it.
Hang on. There's no Craig here. Come on.
Yeah, but he misses. It's his own fault for not being here.
I'll pick for Craig. In fact, Liam, you're picking for Craig.
I could pick for Craig. There we go.
For Craig. He'll like that. He'll like that.
There we go.
Suki, I'll come to you first.
Right.
Pick me a Doctor Who story.
Okay, I'm going to pick Suntaran Experiment. And for John, this is just 2 episodes, 25 minutes.
Noted.
Good nature.
Okay.
Cliff?
I've got to go for the Web Planet.
You fucking arsehole.
I know.
Horrible, Cliff.
Why?
That's 7 episodes of shit, John.
All right.
Not that shit.
7? Is it 6?
Oh, it's right. It feels like 7. What am I going to pick? I feel I may pick a Sylvester McCoy episode. Surprisingly. Have we done Remembrance of the Daleks?
Yeah,
around
probably.
the console?
Yeah.
Is around the console? Is
Not
around the
around the
console?
console.
I don't think so.
Right. I'm picking Remembrance of the Daleks then. 4 episodes, John. Amazing. The best adventure you've ever seen in life. Liam, could you pick for Craig, please?
Have you done The Visitation yet?
No.
Then I will pick The Visitation.
John.
It's done Tyrant Experiment for me.
Right, let's roll this here. D6. It is number 5, which is Craig. It's The Visitation.
There you go. Do you know why I picked The Visitation?
I don't.
Because in The Visitation, obviously, the sonic screwdriver got destroyed, and in this episode,
it gets destroyed.
Yeah. So there you go.
There we go. Peter. So next month we'll be back with our usual.
I like Peter
about old
Davison.
Doctor Who. Yeah. Peter
Only
Davison,
4
The
episodes.
Yeah. There you go. Right. Lovely. Well, thank you very much, listeners. Until next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.